swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
You know what I like to do? Just follow me on this one.
Yo, what's good, what's good? Had to get Jack Jones in there one last time for the final intro of Jack. So I'm sure y'all heard the news. Jack Jones gets the boot. Got holes to fill again, once again in the nation. And all signs point to, obviously, a corner. Is it going to be first round, second round? You know, the last couple we've got have been third or fourth round. Are they willing to rock with those guys? Are they going corner high? We shall see. We shall break it all down. But shout out to the peeps in the building. You know, Jack had a rough year. A lot of Raider fans, of course, will never forget the interception, staring down Patty Mahomes, you know, doing his little Deion stomp to the end zone. However, it wasn't consistent. It wasn't every game. You know, when AP was there, Jack Jones was killing it, right? He was playing defense. He was tackling. Then the second year, you know, when AP got the head gig, there was business decisions made. There was plenty of film breakdown on my channel and other channels of, you know, Jack just not wanting to be completely involved, not tackling. And it hurt him, right? It hurt him. The kid has, you know, all the talent in the world. If you watch a lot of film of last year of camp, the dude is one of the best when it comes to backpedaling, turning your hips, you know, eyeing the quarterback, breaking on the ball. He has great instincts, but there's a problem with that, right? Sometimes when you have great instincts and people get film on you and they know you like the jump routes, they're going to pump fake. And he bit on a lot of those last year. And, you know, I broke it down a couple of weeks ago, in the middle of the season, saying that, you know, Jack Jones just wasn't the player he was the half a season that we had him, you know, when we brought him in half a year. He was giving up, I think in December, 128 QBR rating against. That means quarterbacks going against our targeting Jack Jones had 128% quarterback rating, which is absolutely terrible. Now he cleaned it up a little bit. He finished the season at 15, I think 15.6, somewhere in there, 15. 115, bro, is still very, very bad quarterback percentage. He also gave up, some people say 10 touchdowns, some people say 8 touchdowns. I'm going to go in the middle and say 9. Robert Penner was good. Furpo, appreciate you pulling up. But yeah, that's, you know, not great coverage. Arnie Garza, my guy, was good. Run, you know, when it comes to run defense, the man just didn't want to tackle. We've seen plenty of film. People, even the GOAT put some film out, you know, of Jack Jones just whiffing on tackles, acting like he's going to go to the tackle and completely stopping like, oh, that dude's got him. So, you know, it just didn't seem to me like he was all in. And I made a video last year saying that dude could be could be the next prime time, right? With just the way he plays, his aggressiveness, his instincts. But you got to be willing to do it all. You got to be willing to tackle. You got to stick your nose in there. You got to do the dirty work. You can't just live the limelight. And unfortunately, Jack Jones will be moving on, which again, it's not a big loss. It'd be a bigger loss if he was, consistent and that guy every single day, every single game. There was reports coming out from other channels that got reports about Jack Jones practice, showing up to practice, shit like that. So character, right? That's what we've been preaching on this channel. Damn. Can y'all hear me? Is this shit probably too far? Try that again. Character is what we've preached on this channel for a long, long time, right? Especially coming to Vegas. I keep saying these guys, you have to be high character guys, especially in Pete Carroll and a Spytek, ran organization with Brady in the building, bro. Am I muted? Can you hear me? Nobody can fucking hear me. Can you hear me now? I'm muted this whole time. That's fucking ridiculous, bro. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Somebody answer. Fuck. Testing. Oh, you hear me? Okay, so maybe your shit was damn. If I've been talking this whole time, I'm gonna be pissed, bro. Oh my god, you're still muted. Somebody says they can hear me. I'm still muted. He's trolling. You sound good, bro. All right, man. I don't know. So my guy Furpo, you gotta turn up your mic, bro. Turn the button. But yeah, all right. So at least y'all can hear me. Damn, because I would have had to start all over and forget half the shit I was saying. That would have been shitty. Rebel, which QB do you like in the NFL draft? Johnson, Hunter, Barron, Morrison, Harrison, Porter. I like them all. I mean, okay. I have questions about Will Johnson, and I've said it before on this channel, Arnie. You should know, like the injury thing. Last year he had a great freshman year, sophomore year, and last year, and Navman was good. Appreciate you pulling up. So Will Johnson has potential if he could stay healthy, but he also has that Jack Jones potential of not wanting to snick his nose in there in the run game. And you can't do that in the NFL, bro. You have to be a cover guy and press. You have to be able to play cover 2, cover 3, whatever it's going to be. You have to be diverse, and you also have to be able to cover in the run game. You have to be able to tackle and stick your nose in there. And to me, it just doesn't seem, from the more film I watch, a lot of times he doesn't. And it hurts. It hurt Michigan a lot of times. Now he has big play potential. He does have a bunch of touchdowns, a bunch of interceptions. The guy's a highlight reel, but it's another one of those character, questions, in my opinion. Now, other people might have other feelings about, but I'm not taking him at 6. So I'm not taking Will Johnson. Travis Hunter it's not even a question, bro. It's like the dude has all the talent in the world. My thing with him is the maturity. Like, he seems like he's, a 13-year-old in a 21, 22-year-old body getting ready to go to the NFL. To me, like, he's, nothing wrong with playing video games, but he always talking about video games, always being goofy, always joking around, just doesn't seem serious. Now, when it comes to the football field and practice and shit like that, I'm not there. I don't see it. So, he might be a little bit different. But I did see in the pro day, Shador Sanders had to go over there and been like, yo, man, like, come on, get in the play. It was his turn to run. And the dude was over there dancing, talking to people, just being goofy, doing stupid shit. So that's the only thing I see about Travis Hunter. Now, maybe that's why he's not going number one, because really, if you look at it, the athleticism, you know, upside, all that shit, he, he's way better than a Cam Ward. I would take that dude over taking a quarterback any day of the week. Then you have to question the maturity level. At least I do. That's what I see with him. But everything else, the dude, I mean, if you watch him play basketball, he's absolutely a freak of nature when it comes to talent. And with that talent, I mean, you're going to be scary in the NFL, whether you're playing corner, whether you play him at receiver. It doesn't matter. Kick return, punt return, wherever you put the guy, he's going to be good. The only thing I have is, like I said, maturity questions. And you can grow up. Obviously, the NFL, you're going to grow up real, real quick. But how long is it going to take? Like, some people don't. Some people just have that class clown in them that always have to be joking around and, playing around. I don't know how that's going to fly in the NFL with some coaches, but, it might. Jahad Barron, Jahade, whatever, however the hell do you say the dude's name, Mr. Barron, I would take it 6. Say what you want, criticize however you want. The more tape I watch, come on. If that's the position you feel that's the biggest need, I mean, I would love to trade back and get more picks, but if you can't and you need a corner, he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there anywhere near the second round. You have to take a guy like that. But and I could see Pete Carroll doing that. I just don't see Pete Carroll convincing Spytek to do something crazy like that, because it would be wild to take that dude at 6. But Jahade Barron is nasty, bro. Morrison, the same thing. Harrison, the same thing. Both of those dudes, second, third round, maybe fourth, probably third. Most of these corners are going to be gone by the third. I just don't see them lasting longer than that. What else? Let me catch back up. Rebel, what position in the draft is our biggest need? To me, it's running back. I mean, we paid a quarterback. We have 1,000-yard tight end. We have 1,000-yard receiver who didn't drop any balls, which is the craziest thing ever. I mean, the no drop passes in a season is fucking unheard of, bro. It's absolutely unheard of. So corner, you could say corner. We don't know who's going to play slot, but we have a lot of young up and coming guys that were picked pretty high, right? A third round pick for a corner is, unless you're picking first, that's pretty high for a corner nowadays. We have, I think, two on the roster that were picked in the third round. Wasn't DCAM picked in the third? Maybe the fourth. I could be wrong. No, because we got Eichenberg in the fourth, right? So 2 third-round corners on the board. Like I said, they just need developing. And Jacorian Bennett's shown signs of taking that step. The injury kind of, I question. I question the injuries, because is it something that, is going to happen all the time? Was he just going too hard? I mean, we do know those guys got worked. AP worked the shit out of them. They had over 1,000 more snaps in training camp than any other team. That's equivalent to almost a whole season, the snaps that are the 1,000 snaps they ran in the offseason. So those guys were worked. Like, they could be that too. But Jacorian Bennett shows all the flashes you need. He's not one of those guys that, has the instincts, is going to create a lot of turnovers. And we need a playmaker. We need a playmaker at corner. Jahade Barron is him, bro. He's him. That dude is all over. Not to mention the guys he went against in college. Like, come on. everybody he faced in college and practice runs a 4.2 or a 4.3 40. Like it's, and the dude had to compete with those guys nonstop, in and out, in and out. But yeah, running back is the biggest need right now, in my opinion. And corner, linebacker, we have a couple. We have a couple. We don't have a lot, as people think. We have a bunch of high draft picks on this team that are still, on this team fighting for a spot, that are going to be fighting for a roster. And, guys like Decamarion Richardson, guys like MJ Davonshire, who is still on the roster, guys like Tommy Eichenberg, my favorite that I thought should have played way more last year. There's guys on this roster. They just need to develop. We don't know what they are yet, and we won't know what they are, and until they get some burn. And Amari Gainer, there's guys that we drafted. And there's another guy on the offensive line I keep talking about, and I don't know if anybody did their homework like I asked. Maybe I'll bring. I mean, shit. If I pull up shit, sometimes I get copyrighted, so I'm scared pulling it up. But if you go watch the film on Will Putnam, bro, out of Clemson, the guy is an absolute monster at center. He's like JPJ, the same body, the same type, the same tenacity, the same toughness and meanness. He was on our roster, on our practice squad all year last year. I can't believe nobody stole him, but hopefully these guys can develop guys like that and bring them up. So I like a lot of corners in this draft. You can get a guy that's going to be, has a chance to be a Witherspoon or a Gonzalez or, Patrick Surtain type guy. There's a couple of these guys that have, um, the upward fucking trajectory to possibly be those, 10-year starters at corner that are going to give you production, Pro Bowl type guys. And then there's a bunch of guys that, you can get in the third or fourth round that could possibly be that. Kansas City, the Chiefs always seem to find guys in the 6th, 7th round and developing them into the best guys in the NFL, or top 5, top 10 corners in the NFL. So I think with the coaches we have, the developmental process is going to be bigger and better than ever. So whoever we get, it's going to be good, I believe. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's got to be running back. If you can get an Ashton Genty, it changes everything. It changes everything. But let's talk about something else, because I'm sure everybody on the planet knows how I feel about Ashton Genty by now. Best player available. I don't like going best player available. It just scares me. It just scares me. And I'm out on the Mason Graham thing. I keep saying that too. Like, I know somebody in here is going to ask what I think about Mason Graham. In case you don't know, welcome to the Raiders Unleashed show. Like, I don't like Mason Graham. He's a run stopping guy. Now, if you're going to draft a guy at 6 just to stop the run, that's 100,000 times stupider than drafting a running back at 6, in my opinion. So guys that could say you don't draft a running back at 6, but say you would draft a Mason Graham with the little alligator arms, that's even on film, all the film you can watch over and over again, he's not a scary pass rusher. He's a run stopper. He's damn good at stopping the run. He gets to the running back. He disrupt plays in the backfield. But in the pass rush, he's not all that. If I would take Walter Nolan way before that, and I've said this a million times, dude. Walter Nolan at Ole Miss is the complete defensive nose. Like, him next to Christian Wilkins would be, with Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz on the other side, you wouldn't have to put anybody else in the game. If those guys could play 90% of the snaps, we would have the scariest defensive line in the history of the NFL. Genty, Morrison, Higgins at 36. Oh, wait. Genty at 6, Morrison at 36, Higgins at 68. He's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. I'm sorry. I'll put a whole bunch of money on it. There's no way that dude falls. If you're talking about Jalen Higgins, I mean, I would love him to be there at 68. And maybe I misread it. Nope, that's right. And Will Howard, I don't know. I don't believe Will Howard even has a top 30 visit scheduled. Does he? I don't know. I broke it down a couple days ago, the top 30 visits. I don't have all my notes with me. Again, like always. Did I? Oh, because I was on the phone when I broke it down. I wasn't on the computer. That's why I don't have any notes for that. But, however, I don't know. I don't think Will Howard. I just don't really think. I mean, they could. I think they did a private visit or private workout with Will Howard, but I don't think he's on the top 30. At 108 is crazy to me. That's wild. He'll be there in the 5th round with Riley Leonard, and I'm taking Riley all day of any day. But I like Genty, I like Morrison, and I like Higgins. But if you have to maybe swap those, maybe Arnie, I don't know. I just don't see Higgins being there at 68. If he's there, yes, yes, bro. Shit. I will be at the podium underneath that shit before they could even announce the Raiders pick. Be popping up with that shit if he's there. Ben Soles, we need to draft him at 6. Who? Ben Solis. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know, but that's crazy. Rebel cut one, trade one, extend one on our current roster. Well, Arnie Garza, I do believe you asked the same question like 2 weeks ago before I went on this vacation, or maybe when I got here, but I think it was before. And I think I told you then. No, that was like a month ago, but I think I told you then it was Jack Jones, didn't I? Do you remember? I'll go back and watch the video or find the video, but I believe I told you Jack Jones was more than likely not going to be on this roster when camp came. So he already got cut. So it was, I don't know. Other than that, cut one, trade one. I don't think there's anybody. I don't think there's anybody wants. You know what I mean? Like, you could possibly trade a Colton Miller. I don't think the Raiders are going to get what they want for him. So I don't think that's out. He started playing better at the end of the year. So the cut one, Jack Jones is already gone. There's probably going to be a couple more cuts. I got a couple more guys in mind. I'll wait till maybe tomorrow to break down who I think is not going to be on the roster. All of them intact, but I don't know. I hear the Michael Mayer trade talk. I wouldn't do it. I think he's going to be a big asset to this team when it comes to blocking. Put him at fullback. You can play the guy pretty much anywhere. Plus, with injuries, most teams carry 3 tight ends. We just brought in another tight end. I don't know. Trade wise, that's a tough one. Extend one on our current roster. I mean, the easy answer is Brock Bowers. Just pay the man now, bro. But he is on a rookie contract, so that would be absolutely crazy to just give him money now and throw it away. But you got to give him something. You can't let him play on that rookie deal. I mean, not for long. So Brock definitely. Jacoby Myers. I don't know why that didn't come to mind first off. That should already be already been a done deal, in my opinion. Jacoby should, I mean, yeah, before Max, in my opinion. Like that should have been a done deal. I don't think he has any more guaranteed money on his deal. Jacoby Myers, definitely. He helps this offense in so many ways, whether it's blocking, whether it's not dropping passes, whether it's, getting double teamed a couple times last year. Jacoby 100%. Rebel, where would you get Jahad Barron sixth and Henderson at 36? I mean, six is crazy for Jahad Barron. I know. But you're not gonna. The point of that is you're not gonna get him anywhere else. And a lot of these teams, if you want the guy, that's the rough thing for the Raiders at six is you have to trade back if you want, guys like Jahade, guys like Iniki Mbuka, however you say his name, which is, like I said, probably my top 3 or 4 receiver in this draft that I would draft in the first round. I mean, come on, we took Darius Hayward Bay in the first round. How could you not take a Jalen Higgins, or a fucking? but he's not going to be there in the second round. He might maybe fall to the second round. I just don't see a guy of his size, his stature, his talent making it out. I think there's going to be more first round receivers than people think. I really do, and running backs too. I have a very, very, very big. Of course, my guy, New England Booster, says cut Zamir, trade Wilson, extend Miller. I don't know if you extend Miller. And I'm not cutting Zamir. I'm not. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to stick up for Zamir when every other Raider fan has given up on the dude and, totally washed their hands of Zeus, which he doesn't deserve that name. I know, Zamir White. But I have this strong feeling in this system under Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, Zamir White is going to be the Zamir White people believed he was and the Zeus that everybody calls him. The dude is a monster. He runs hard. You just got to put him in the right system. And it wasn't the right system. We didn't have, what he needed. And what he needed as an offensive lineman, because he doesn't have great vision. He's a, one cut and go guy. He's not going to jump cut. He's not going to, get skinny through the holes. He's not going to go, patiently slow to the hole, fast through the hole. The man gets the ball and he's 100 miles an hour. You got to have offensive linemen that are road graders. They have to open holes like trucks for the dude to make it through, in my opinion, are, big enough because, and it's got to be the hole intended. If he's running through the A gap has to be open because he's not gonna cut and go to the B gap. It's just not what Zamir White does. So I just feel with this coaching staff, with the running back coach we have, with the offensive coordinator we have, Zamir White is gonna get some carries. Now, if he makes it through camp, there's a reason he's gonna be nasty. If he doesn't make it through camp, then they just don't believe in the dude, and all of Raider Nation was right, and Raider Rebel was wrong. But I just don't see. I see him making it through camp, like if he's healthy. Because come on, he got hurt in the offseason last year. He had a hamstring problem. Then he had, I think, a hip problem or whatever he had. But he had 2 different injuries last year, and then lost his spot to Madison, who had 420 yards rushing total for the season. So I think Zamir White is going to be back stronger than ever and on a mission. You can't cut a guy on a rookie contract Still, right? He's still under rookie contract. This is his last year. It's it's a contract year for him. We all know what players do in the contract year. Give Zamir a chance. That's all I'm saying. Just give him a chance. And I'm not trading Tyree, bro. Give him a chance too. Give him a chance too. I think Carroll and Kelly will make Zamir the comeback kid. See, Geo Mex got it. I didn't even read that shit. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think it is too. Like I'm saying, he's a hard runner. He's fast as fuck, dude. He runs a 4.3 something at 200. He's basically he's basically Ashton Genty, right? Like, I mean, come on. He got them thick ass legs, them big ass arms, chest muscles. He's a little bit bigger Ashton Genty and faster, in my opinion. You just got to put him in the right system. He's not going to wow you out of the backfield. He's not going to wow you with his, stop cuts or jump cuts. But you put him in a power gap system, and he's going to run all over people. You get him to the outside, and he's hard to catch. Like, he's hard to catch. The dude is fast and big. He's hard to take down. And I hope he does, because if he becomes, the comeback kid, that means shit. We got a big trade candidate, especially if we go crazy and draft a Ashton Genty. Now, if you draft a Ashton Genty, he's not going to get the play time he deserves, but not having to carry the load is going to keep him fresh and healthy. And when he does get carries, bro, if he does play good, that's just one more player we have, for trade bait. Because if you have an Ashton Genty and a Mostert, shit, why keep him around? And you got Dylan Labe. Who knows what he's going to do this year? But I would love to see him get some reps also. Jeff, mine is Munford trade Mayer, extend Myers. I don't know if you trade Munford either, really. Oh, cut Munford. You're going to cut Thayer Munford? That's wild. What, man? I knew some of y'all got some of the shit y'all got. Why would you cut Thayer Munford? Now I know he's a tight end size. He's what, 6'2", 3'4". I don't know what his damn height is, but he's 285 pounds. He does get pushed around a lot with guys over, 310, 320. Those strong, dominant Christian Wilkins, Jalen Carter type defensive tackles. The dude does get worked, but he held his own with not good coaching, with players being flopped in and out around him. He's definitely a good backup piece. I mean, he's better than Cody Whitehair. He's better than Andres Pete. And Alex Kappa's making $5 million. Like, come on, bro. You can't just cut Munford. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I know he was a 7th round pick, but damn, he might even get. He could even get his job back if we don't draft offense early, or go get another tackle or a guard. There's a very big possibility with this organization. Spytek has said over and over again, he likes to take big name tackles from small schools and move them to guard. Well, we already have one in the building. DJ Glaze is a pretty big name tackle from a pretty small school that's been playing tackle. Now, if you can move him over to guard next to JPJ, come on, and get Munford, playing back to the way he was, or even as a backup, and you go get another right tackle. Munford is a key piece. Like, shit, come on. They lined the dude up at at wide receiver, bro. You can play Munford at wide receiver. Like, come on, man. No, but for real, cutting him is crazy though. Cutting them is wild. Somebody would give you something for Thayer Munford, bro. Trade Mayer, I don't know. That's crazy. We need Mayer. Can't let him go. Mayer is cheap, right? On a cheap. Mayer and Wilson are trade bait in the NFL draft. Wait and see. I don't think Wilson's going anywhere. I'm telling you. Y'all are sleeping on Tyree Wilson. He's going to be very, very dangerous under this new regime, I feel. I think they're going to keep him at defensive tackle. There's no reason to put him out on the edge unless they have to here and there. But inside he's nasty, bro. He's a solid run stopper. Sorry, trying to get through these chats, trying to catch up before this shit gets crazy. What are your thoughts on Luther Burden Jr. in the first round or early second? To me, I would take him late in the first, like late in the first, early second. I don't think he's going to make it to the second. He's not a guy that I would take at 6. Zamir is trash. Oh, I'm not saying don't grab Genty. No, don't get me wrong there. Don't get me wrong there. I'm just saying go into camp with 4 running backs or 5 running backs because our running back room was trash last year. They were at the bottom of every single category in the NFL when it comes to running the football, and you can't win football games like that. So, yes, I agree. Like, he was horrible last year, but it was also the scheme, the offense, the offensive coordinator, all of that shit. Like, we don't know what Zamir White could have been even under the Turners because I believe he was hurt again. So he didn't even get much work under the Turners at all. It was under Getsy, and everybody was horrible under Getsy. Like the whole team was horrible under them. Yes, grab Genty. Chances for what? To suck more and spend time taking up space and cap money? For what? Wait, what chance? On Zamir? Zamir or Tyree? Which one are you talking about? Both of them are. We're not taking up any cap money for Zamir at all. He's under a rookie deal, and so is Tyree Wilson. So if you're talking about those two, Jeff, I don't know. Move Bowers to wide receiver, start Mayer at tight end. I don't think you have to move him there. I believe we're still gonna run a Raider Menace. What's good? What's good? Appreciate Chucky Smoke, everybody else pulling up in the building. Appreciate y'all. If you would hit them like button. I don't think we have to move him to receiver. I think Bowers is going to play a lot of slot anyways, just because I think we run a lot of 12 personnel, or not a lot, probably 30, 40%, somewhere in there, more than we did last year. Because last year, let's face it, we were supposed to be that big, 12 personnel team where we were going to come in with two tight ends and run the ball down everybody's throat and smash mouth football. Fucking fake type shit. Yeah, that's what we were supposed to be last year. But I think even in a Chip Kelly offense, they're going to run a bunch of 12 personnel just because you have to utilize Michael Mayer. And if you could, keep Mayer in there to block, and you can always have Brock Bauer in motion, that's a scary combination. If you have, Brock in one position lined up at either tight end spot or in the slot, teams are going to start keying and doubling on him. But if he's constantly moving, right before the snap, it's hard for teams to, to adjust on the fly like that. So I think it just gives us one more weapon, having Michael Mayer in there with Brock Bauer as much as possible, which, probably won't be a lot. Be mostly probably in the run game, screen games, short games. Munford is better at wide receiver than right tackle. Oh, shit. He never even got a pass at wide receiver, but that was the stupidest shit I ever seen in my life. Rebel, was your top Big board for talent alone in the draft. All right, Arnie Garza. So I had my big board yesterday or Friday, and you did not show up. So I still have my notes. I think I did. So my top 10 is really in no order. I don't think it's in order. Um, Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty. I have Jalen Walker, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Nick Eamon, probably a shocker for a lot of people. Mikael Williams, Jahade Barron. Uh, you got to put Colston Loveland in there, even though, we don't need a tight end, but top 10, that dude's, come on. Somebody's going to take him like a Brock Bowers in the top 10. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I have Gray Zabel in there. A lot of people don't. A lot of people say you'd be crazy to take the dude at 6. I just don't see how you'd be crazy to take a guy that can play center, left, and right guard in both tackle positions at a high level in the NFL. You're getting 5 positions in one, but you would take a Will Campbell or a Nimbu at 6 or 4 or 3, like some of these people are saying. To me, it don't make sense. So to say you can't take a Gray Zabel at pick number 6 is just outlandish to me. Like, you're getting 5 players in one. With Will Campbell, you're getting a guy that everybody says has very short arms and, all the upside in the world if it wasn't for the arm length, which I don't see why the 1 inch matters. It's not like you're an OnlyFans star or nothing, bro. It's football. You're blocking 1 inch. Come on. But if you're willing to take a chance on a guy like that, who, if you watch the film, I don't know if anybody did, but I said, Friday night and last week and the week before, if you go watch the Arkansas game against LSU, Landon Jackson put the work on Will Campbell. Had that dude on skates all over the field, was constantly in the backfield. And maybe it's because he has those short arms and Landon Jackson could just, reach out there with that 6'7" frame and knock dude off balance. But put the work on him. Go watch the Missouri game against Mimbu. Landon Jackson put the work on him. He put the work on him. He had his worst game of the season, I do believe, was against Landon Jackson. So for those 2 reasons, like, if you go watch Gray Zabel, there's not too many times that dude gets worked by anybody. And he played tackle all year. And at the Senior Bowl, they had the man playing center and guard and didn't miss a beat, bro. Didn't miss a beat. Was, one of the highlights, in my opinion. His athleticism and skills, it just undeniable to me. So some people have different preferences of drafting, but I got Gray Zabel in there over all these tackles, over all the guards, because he can play just as good at tackle as any one of these guys, and he can play just as good at guard as any of one of these guys coming out. Center, I really don't know. I don't know really much at center though. But they say he can play every position. But I've seen him play guard and I've seen him play tackle, and it's nasty. So those are my top. And, Amiki Abuka or whatever is got to be right there at somewhere in 11, in my opinion. I know a lot of people have him in the second round, but I think that dude is a game changer. Like, for as big as he is and his size and his thickness, just the fluidness in his routes, the way he reminds me a lot of a Devontae Adams. Don't trip out. There's no comp. Only one thing. He reminds me a lot of Devontae Adams with his late hands. He is very, very, very damn good at waiting until the ball is right there. You know what I mean? Like he don't put his hands up until the ball is where he can grab it, and that is hard for somebody that played safety and a little bit of defensive back. In junior high and high school, that's hard, bro. That's hard. If you don't, if you don't have enough room to look back at the ball and you're watching the guy, you're watching his hands, watching his eyes to see if his eyes get bigger where the ball's coming. If his eyes don't get bigger, which is hard to see inside of a helmet, nowadays, especially with fucking helmets they got. But if you're watching to see where his hands go up, it's too late. It's too late because he's not putting his hands up until the ball's there. So that's one thing I really, really, really liked about Jaden Higgins was that, that's just nasty, bro. Would you trade Michael Mayer, Tyree Wilson, Zamir for Tyreek Hill? No. No. What? Arnie, what? Come on, man. You want me to trade two players under rookie contracts that have potential and upside for a Tyreek Hill that makes $50 million next year? Come on. That's between him, Max Crosby, and Gino. That's almost all of our contract right there, bro. Like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And you're gonna give him that's three players under. You're gonna give him three rookies drafted, one in the first round, 7th overall, one in the second round, and where was Tyree? Where was Zamir drafted in the 4th, 3rd, or 4th round? No, I'm not trading that for Tyreek Hill, even if his contract was 25 mil. I'm sorry. I can't do that. That you're gonna cost your franchise to fold like a lawn chair. That's too much talent, too many draft picks for a guy that makes more babies than he catches touchdowns. Damn. Most years nervous about the offensive coordinator this year. I'm freaking excited to see. Can't wait. Talk that truth. Talk that truth. Can't wait. Best OC since Callahan and Hugh Jackson. I think possibly better. Bill Callahan. I love those days. I'm not gonna lie. But man, it's hopefully way better. Like Chip Kelly is nasty, bro. He was nasty. His offenses were always top run games, crazy quarterback play, even with not the greatest quarterbacks. I mean, come on. Michael Vick was, did he have Michael Vick? No, that was I don't know. But the dude always has damn good schemes. He was criticized about being a head coach. He's definitely not, he's definitely one of those guys that is offensive coordinator minded. So when you don't have the pressure of being a head coach, of having to put the roster together and having to plan for where you're going and practices and workouts and all that shit, bro, he's gonna be scary. He's gonna be scary good. He was scary good in college, and I know it's a big difference. But like he said, the scheme's not going to change. It's going to be smash mouth football, run the ball down down your throat, short passes, meteor passes, 5-10 yards, which go for 15, 20, 25, 30 yards, especially when you got Brock Bowers. It's going to be fun to watch. You just got done getting your asshole waxed. How did that feel? That sounded like it was painful, bro. But shout out to you and your new smooth anus, I guess. Fucking TMI, bro. But shout out to you. Shout out to you. What the fuck? Oh, most years. Oh, people, dude, I swear. Most years, wait, I got past that one. Rebel. Will Tommy freaking Eichenberg and Amari Ferrari beat out Devin White and Roberts for our starters? You know, if anybody's going to give them the chance to beat them out and play over, you know, big T-Bone, what's good? If anybody's going to give them the chance to play, you know, over veteran guys, it's Pete Carroll, right? I know we heard that bullshit last year about we don't care about how much money you make. We don't care what the name says on the back. We don't care what round you were drafted. All we care about is the best football players. Now, we know that was bullshit because a lot of the guys wouldn't have been on the field last year. And a lot of guys that didn't get any burn, like Amari Gainer, uh, fucking even Dylan Labe, those dudes would have been playing, right? If that was the case. But that wasn't the case. That was just a bunch of, you know, cheerleading and hoorah bullshit. This year, I do believe that's the case because he didn't have to say it, but you already know just from the Geno Smith, not, you know, the Geno Smith situation. He brought Geno in, you know, 2 years later, Russ is gone. Geno's the guy. He brought, traded for Matt Flynn, went and drafted Russell Wilson at, you know, the third round, whatever. Russell beats him out. Russell's the guy, stays the guy. So if anybody's going to give rookies, the you know, young guys, the chance to compete, is Pete Carroll. Now, if Tommy Eichenberg and Amari Ferrari freaking Gainer can beat those dudes out, it's up to them, right? That's up to their work ethic, how much time they put in. Are you going to be in there at 6:00 with Max Crosby, with Aiden O'Connell? Because you know Aiden's in the building, first one all the time, last one to leave. So, you know, you going to put in that kind of work ethic and not get credit for it like Aiden does. But, you know, Aiden always guarantee you first one in that building, first one there, last one to leave. So if you put in the work like that, Tommy Eichenberg's, you know, they don't, well, one person, don't call him Tommy freaking Eichenberg for a reason. He's a monster when it comes to the run game, to stopping the run game. Not the greatest, you know, when it comes to coverage linebacker, but maybe you put him at Mike, maybe you put Amari Gainer, who can run sideline to sideline, who can be that guy, especially under the tutelage of, you know, Pete Carroll and the defensive staff we have. Who is our linebackers coach? Why can't I think of his name? Somebody tell me, please. Don't make me look it up. Unleashing Addiction was good. Appreciate you pulling up. But yeah, I do believe those guys can start over there. And like I said, they, you know, they have all the upside in the world. Tommy Eichenberg, just go watch games. Don't just watch the film and the highlights. Go watch games. That dude is, he's everywhere, bro. He's a problem. He's a huge problem. And Amari Gainer, I said it when we picked him up as a UDFA. That was an absolute steal. The guy was crazy in Florida State. He was crazy at North Carolina. Played linebacker at one, played edge at the other, and was dominant. You know, dominant. Reminds me of another guy who I have in every single mock draft that I've done, except for one, which is about 10 or 15. The UCLA linebacker / edge, which is exactly like the Amari Gainer that I was just talking about. Olufemi, whatever, however you say that. The linebacker out of UCLA, our edge rusher, I don't know what they have him listed at this draft, has been brought in or will be brought in for a top 30 visit for the Las Vegas Raiders. This dude, I'm telling you, is a raw, absolute, untamable beast. Like, man, it's going to be crazy what Patrick Graham and Robbie Leonard and these guys get out of him if they draft him. If you have him and Amari Gainer next to each other, holy shit, bro. It would be crazy, crazy, crazy good. Rebel, does AOC have a chance to beat out Geno this year? I mean, again, I'm gonna have to say the same thing I said about Amari Gainer and Amari Ferrari. If there's any coach that is gonna give him the chance to do that and compete, you know, it's Pete Carroll. It's Pete Carroll. Now that's up to Aiden O'Connell. We know Aiden puts in the work. He's already been all year in the parks in Vegas throwing. So, same guys, Trey Tucker, those guys are already putting in work. He's in the building every single morning working out. He packed on a lot of pounds, bro. Like he looks really, really good. He's not completely lost that baby fat, but it's going away. So I'm telling you, AOC is putting in the work. He's not just going to run and hide. He's not going to lay down and be like, okay, we signed Geno. It's his job. He didn't do that last year. Now, he was younger. It's his second year in the NFL. Hopefully, he gets a little bit, heart of the lion in him and competes for the job because that's what we want, right? That's what everybody wants is competition at this position. We don't want Geno Smith just coming in and thinking, all right, I'm getting paid, $36 million a year with 66 guaranteed. This is my job. And I could just come in and fucking throw 21 touchdowns with 21 turnovers. That's not what we want. So I want Aiden O'Connell to put the pressure on that dude constantly. I want him to be in the background every time he turns around being like, damn, how's this dude hitting all those targets? Because we seen Aiden O'Connell do it last year when they had the little net contest and they were throwing into the nets. Like he was killing Gardner Minshew, and even Carter Bradley was, had some accuracy and some damn good throws out there. So we have two quarterbacks in the building that, bro, I'm telling you, he don't have that cutthroat gangster shit in him because he's a Christian Bible thumper, but bro, Aiden O'Connell can play and he's not going to go down without a fight. He's already been putting in that work. He's already, working his ass off nonstop. Real talk, Raider Nation. And he's a damn good backup. Like we have a dude that we already know. If anything happens to Geno, that Aiden's gonna come in and compete and give you a chance to win football games. um So does he have a chance to beat out Geno? I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible going into his third year, but he doesn't have the mobility. He doesn't give you that dual threat like Geno does. He doesn't have the experience Geno does, but he did become a way better quarterback, way faster than Geno ever did. So like I said, I hope he pushes the shit out of him. I hope Aiden has his best offseason and best preseason and, makes Geno that much better because if Aiden pushes him like that, that means we're going to get the best Geno that we've seen, in his career. Because let's face it, when was he ever really pushed? Like, when has he ever really been pushed? Who's been behind him? He was a backup to Russell Wilson for a year or two, but then they let Russell Wilson go, gave him the job. Drew Lock. Drew Lock was the biggest competition he had. Geno's never had no competition behind him. He's never had any pressure on his shoulders to be like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to compete for this job. So I want AOC to compete, like I said, put all the pressure on that dude as possible, bro. As much as possible. Antonio Pierce is our linebacker coach. Stop playing. Is he really? No, shut up. Although I was on the short bus to trade Crosby, I'm so grateful that Crosby is a football genius and true leader, motivator. I don't know about football genius. I mean, I don't know. And you was on the short bus to trade Crosby? I just can't. I'm never on any bus to trade any Raiders that we draft if they continue to show upside every year, right? And especially Max Crosby. I mean, if he doesn't want to be here, yeah, that's understandable. But the dude has done everything and said, everything he could possibly say to prove that he wants to be a Raider the rest of his life. I mean, I guess not really, because if he did, the Raiders would have just signed him to a 6-year deal instead of a 3-year deal. And after 2 years, he's going to want more money to stay around again. But I'm glad we didn't trade Max Crosby also. I just hope he fucking stays healthy. Do you believe Trey Tucker can take the 3rd-year leap? I don't have faith in Trey, bro. I mean, I have very little. It was like way up here. I he's gonna have to prove something, man. He's gonna have to prove something. I really don't. Even with his speed, that's a guy that I could see possibly being cut. And I know you're gonna be like, "How are you gonna cut Trey Tucker?" Because I just don't think he catches the ball enough. He has hard times creating separation. He has a harder time getting open. So I don't know. Trey Tucker might be a guy that might be on the brinks. But I love him for him to have a breakout year. Yes, he's the fastest dude on the roster, but he's also 5'9", 5'10". He dives for every single ball thrown over his head, even when they're catchable. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot I see in Trey, but I hope he does. I hope he takes that 3rd-year leap. I hope I was hoping he took it last year, but if you look at his stat wise, and this is only because a lot of his plays were the biggest plays we had last year, right? He had I think a 40-yard catch, a 30-yard catch. Those were, I think, the 2 biggest plays we had last year in the air. Those were not after the catch; those are in the air. But he had almost 500 yards with 50, 48 attempts, whatever. It was half the catches. He had half the attempts of what Jacoby Myers had, and he had half the yards. So, I mean, right? If you throw him the ball, as many times as you throw the ball, Jacoby Myers, is he going to have more yards? That's a question, but he does have a problem with drops. He does have like I said, problems creating separation and getting open. So hopefully with, the new coaches, a new staff, Chip Kelly can use them wisely, but we shall see, man. We shall see. I sure the hell hope so. Y'all go check out my boy Real Talk Raider Nation. Appreciate pulling up. I would drop a link and shit, but I'm not gonna be on here much longer. But let me know if you want to go live again. John Glenn is the linebacker coach. Yes. Thank you, my guy, Austin. Appreciate it. Worked with Pete Carroll for 6 seasons in Seattle. That's what I'm talking about. See, I knew he was a Pete Carroll guy, but I couldn't remember his name. So, yeah, John Glenn, linebacker coach. Just look at the linebackers they had in Seattle under Pete Carroll. One of them was a free agent, played for the Redskins, which I was hoping, Bobby Wagner would get picked up by the Raiders, reunited with Pete Carroll. Obviously, they weren't paying him that money. So, yeah, John Glenn is going to get the best out of Tommy Eichenberg. He's going to get the best out of Amari Ferrari Gaynor. I saw Tucker and AOC having great chemistry, but the coaching staff screwed that up by starting 15. We all know that story. I agree 100%. Geomex, like, it was, bro, it was a bad situation. We all know. Okay, well, the smart ones know that Aiden O'Connell should have been the starter from day one. Like, he should have been the starter when Jimmy Garoppolo got the start 2 years ago. If that kid would have been the starter from day one and we built around him, I believe we would have a franchise quarterback right now. We would have never traded for Geno. We wouldn't have been talking about drafting a quarterback. I think all that shit would be behind us. However, we signed AP. AP didn't have the balls to stand up and say, I want Aiden O'Connell to be the guy, and you need to find a way to work your system around Aiden O'Connell. If that would have happened, I think Trey Tucker would have had a way better year. Jacoby Myers would have had way more than 1,000 yards that he had, in my opinion, because him and Trey Tucker and Jacoby, they were throwing in the offseason. They were out in the parks in the morning, building that chemistry, getting that connection. And like you said, they screwed it up by starting garbage Minshew. Where'd that go? Oh, Rebel, if we draft Travis Hunter, would you handle the snaps on both sides of the ball or only be a corner or wide receiver? If I was the coach, I don't know. To me, I'd start him at corner. Now, for two reasons. One, he's a better corner than he is a receiver, I think. His backpedaling, his hip movement, his vision, the way he finds the ball, the way he can not even be looking, running one way and just know the ball's there. I don't know how he does sometimes, but the man's instincts are just nasty at corner. I mean, he's one of the best receivers also. But at corner, you're getting a shutdown corner, whether it's press, whether it's zone, it doesn't matter. You're getting the top corner. And you're paying him corner money instead of wide receiver money, which is it's a big difference in the NFL. It's a huge, huge difference. So for that reason, I'm putting him at corner. But don't get it twisted. He's getting as many snaps as he can get without overworking him at receiver. That's me. That's what I would do, because I feel like his upside at corner is way better. And I feel like his injury, his chances of getting injured is on the on the offensive side of the ball, right? We seen in his pro day. I made a comment Friday. I don't think you were in here, Arnie, but I made a comment about the way he's dragging his feet, running his routes and shit like that, or you're bending your ankles, dragging your toes. Dude's gonna have turf toe within the first year and be another Deion Sanders, not miss whole seasons because of a toe injury. So I would play him very, very sparingly at receiver. Third downs, big third downs. When you have to have a play, maybe when you're up in a game, just to get them acclimated. But I'd put him at corner, definitely. Put him at corner, give him enough reps on offense to make him happy. So you have no problems, because a disgruntled player is just bad for the locker room. It's bad for the franchise. It's bad for the coaching staff. It's bad for the player. So you want to keep the dude as happy as possible without, ruining his career, because that's a lot to ask, bro, to go against a Patrick Surtain and then turn around and have to guard Lad McConkey. Fucking come on, bro. Come on. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So shit like that, I mean, you have to go against a Justin Jefferson and then go and be guarded by Byron Murphy. Bro, that's a lot of work, bro. I mean, he's very, very talented. He's very athletic. He has the craziest amount of energy I've ever seen in my life. But that's still a lot to ask. Where is Garner? I mean, Uncle Rico. I mean, Waldo. Garner is in Kansas City, backing up Patty Mahomes. Yeah, and we've seen the chemistry AOC had with Meyer. Look, AOC would be my guy, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and be like I'm happy we went and got Geno like a lot of these guys are. Yes, he gives you a dual threat, but it's not really that much of a dual threat. They ran 53 run plays that were called run plays for Geno. 53 run plays for Geno last year. He had 2 touchdowns, 6 fumbles, and 250 yards. To me, that's, I mean, that's not a mobile court. That's not a dual threat. If you're a defense, which most defenses are going to watch all the film in the world and don't think they don't know the stats. Don't think they don't know Geno fumbled 6 times last year and all of them were stripped by a guy chasing him from behind because he didn't hold the ball right or didn't have the ball to his body or whatever he should do at 35 years old, being a veteran, not starting for 7 years in the NFL. You would think you would know to hold on to the football, but I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know. To build a franchise, I know they're in the win now mode, so they went and got their quarterback. But to build a franchise, it just made more sense to have a guy making $102 million that showed in 17 games he has a better win record than loss. He has way more touchdowns than interceptions. Okay, not way more, but 21-12 is better than 21-15 like Geno had. I don't know. I don't know. It just made more sense to not go crazy, to draft your quarterback this year, to let him sit for a year, to bring him along. But, again, I'm not a GM. I'm just a football fan with this shit tatted across my whole entire forearm for the whole world to see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just made more sense. And I don't think I won't be the first mofo up here talking all that shit if by somehow Pete Carroll says, I'm going with Aiden O'Connell. I'm going with Aiden. I don't care how much we pay Geno. We can get out of it next year. I'm going with Aiden. That shit would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Not for, the money we spent on him, but Rebel, who is the worst case scenario? 6th pick. Who is the best case scenario? I think I told you this. The worst pick you could possibly pick is T Mac. That's me. Don't see it in that guy. I don't see the work ethic. I don't see the love of the game in his, the passion. Even in his interviews, bro. I don't hear it in his voice. I don't see his eyes light up when you talk about defenses, get getting a chance to go against a guy like Patrick Surtain in the NFL or shit like that. You don't see like his, facial expression, eyes light up. You see these other guys are like, they're perked up, like, oh yeah, they got the answer right away. Like, yeah, who's your favorite corner? Who do you want to go against? Like, I don't know. The dude just it just doesn't do it for me, bro. He does not tickle my fancy. So T Mac, I'm gonna be pissed, bro. If they draft T Mac, I'm gonna throw a temper tantrum. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna throw a damn temper tantrum. I would be live screaming, cussing, throwing shit. Might have to get a new computer. Could be all kinds of shit. It could be all kinds of shit going. For real. That would be bad, bro. T Mac. What was the rest of the question? I don't know what it is with T Mac, bro, but there's just some players that just I'm like, no, 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 no. I can't find your question. The fuck did it go? Oh, oh, my bad. Maybe if I put it up, it went away. All right, let me start this so I know where to flip I'm at. Yeah, so worst pick, best case scenario is it's a flip flop. There, I don't really have one. Ashton Genty. Okay, best case scenario is trade back. It's trade back. I can't sit up here and be flip flopping. It's trade back, dude. I'm a trade back guy. There's just so much you can get from trading back, especially depending on where it is. If it's a team that's 15th, bro, you're gonna get a first, a second, a fourth, and probably a second next year. Um, it just depends on the value, but trade back is the best case scenario. But if not, it's Genty. I mean, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All the way, all day. Run to the podium. Throw that shit in. Have his jerseys ready because you're gonna sell a billion of them bitches. A billion. You think Josh Jacobs sold jerseys? Just wait. Wait till the Ashton Genty jersey. So that's my best case scenario. Now, in a world where Genty's not there, Travis Hunter's not there, Shador's not there to have the trade back value, um, call me crazy. Call me crazy. But there's two guys I'd pick. I would take Nick Emanwari at 6. Yes, I said it. Nick Emanwari, safety at 6. Or I'd take Walter Nolan. I know it's a reach, but how much of a reach is it? Because he's going to go maybe 10 through 20, I believe. I don't think he's going anywhere past that. I don't see him falling past 20. If he's going 10 to 20, and he's, in my opinion, the best defensive tackle in this draft, it's not even close. Mason Graham, like I said, is a run stopper. He doesn't put pressure on the quarterback in pass pro. Not pass pro because he's on defense. But Walter Nolan, dude. Walter Nolan is all around just a monster. Just a monster. He can be on the field all 3 downs. It doesn't matter. You can put him at any, 1, 2, 3, 4 technique. Shit, you could probably even put him on the outside at edge if you had to. He's not gonna. It might take him a second, to get there, but Walter Nolan is a dog, and that I would take him at 6 also. So there's a couple guys I would take. Now, I debated on it all year long, and I'm like, I just can't find guys that I would take at 6 that are not named Ashton Genty. Like, Jackson Dart. I would. If we didn't go get Gino, I would have took Jackson Dart at 6. Now, people are gonna be like, I'll probably never watch your channel again. But watch, the Saints will probably take him at 9 if Shador's not there. If not, the Steelers are going to take him. He's going to go in the first round, and he's going to be a Pro Bowl player, bro. That kid is going to make whatever team he gets very, very happy. I'm telling you, Jackson Dart is him. He's going to be that kid. But Nick Emanwari, if you don't take him at 6, somebody's going to take him right after you, somewhere in there, very close. So why not take him at 6? Walter Nolan is the same thing. If you're not going to take him at 6, somebody's going to take him at 10, 12, 14. Somebody's going to take him. So he's not going to be there in the second. And you're not going to have, it's going to cost you an extremely crazy, insane amount of draft capital to move back into the first round and try to get a guy like that. So, call it a reach, call it not a reach. But when you have a defensive line like we do, taking a guy like that would just be crazy. But on the other hand, it shortens the develop of Tyree Wilson. It shortens the development of Jonah Lalu. It shortens the development of, I guess not really development, but the playtime of a Christian Wilkins and an Adam Butler, because Walter Nolan's not going to come off the field, bro. Dude's going to be on the field all day, every day. So there's there it is. There's a couple guys. What do you say about the Raiders drafting Ashton Genty? It's the smartest move they could possibly make. I broke it down a million times. There's one reason, again, and I'm going to say this stat. I read it Friday. I'm going to read it again. When Ashton Genty is hit behind the line of scrimmage, now we all know what the line of scrimmage is, right? Or we shouldn't be watching. Okay, maybe Candy Angel or Hawaiian Candy might not, but most of us know what the line of scrimmage is. If we don't, for people that don't know, it is the tip of the ball. That's the line. Where the ball's at, yeah, that's the line of scrimmage. It's an invisible line, goes all the way across the field, just for the people that don't know. So when Ashton Genty is hit behind the line of the scrimmage, which he was hit behind the line of scrimmage 347 times last year, right? You think, holy shit, 347 times. Most running backs don't even touch the ball 347 times in a season. Definitely not in the NFL. Sure the hell not in college. Well, Ashton Genty did, right? I think he touched the ball 700 times. It's a lot of wear and tear. It's a lot of mileage. But my point is, when Ashton Genty was hit behind the line of scrimmage, which everybody said he had this great offensive line, if you're hit 347 times behind the line of scrimmage out of 700 times, that's almost half, bro. That's almost half. Almost half of your touches, you're hit behind the line of scrimmage. How many yards do you think Ashton Genty got after contact? Wait, let me start this so I know where I'm at. Somebody give me a number. Come on. How many yards do you think Ashton Genty got after contact in college football last year? 1,487 yards. Yards. Oh, wait. 1,099. Yeah, I don't know. But it's ridiculous, right? That's not even close. The closest guy is 1,487. That is first, not only last year, not only the year before that, not in the last 10 years, not in the last 20 years, not in the last 50 years. That is first in the history of college football out of every single running back you could possibly name. Saquon, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, LT. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. You know, Eric Dickerson, bro, Bo Jackson, anybody you can think of. That is first. The closest player to that number is Jonathan Taylor with 961. You do the math. That's 526 yards more than any player ever to touch a football in the collegiate level. What more do you got to say? I mean, that should end it, right? That's it. There's no more questions. No more questions. You know, case over, problem solved. Like that. It's just unbelievable. And to be 30 yards away from Barry Sanders' record, to have more yards after contact than any player in college football had last year, you can't pass on that. You just can't. I can't. I mean, some people might be able to. I just don't see how. Barry Sports Highlights. What's good, my guy? Appreciate you pulling in here. Gino is a good backup. Absolutely. He's a good backup. He's a good starter too. I'm not hating on Geno Smith. But the one thing I have problems with is you can't clean up turnovers at 34 years old, bro. Now you could take the pressure off of him by giving him a running back like a Ashton Genty, by throwing a guy like Gray Zabel in the lineup, which I don't know how you're going to get both unless you give up, first round picks from next year. I just don't see us getting both of those guys. But there are, you can get a George Grant, you could get Wyatt Millum, You can get guys like that in the second round that are going to help this offense. But man, you put that dude, you know, you put a running back like a Ashton Genty and take the pressure off of Geno. You give him a guy like Brock Bowers who caught almost everything was thrown his way last year, over 1,200 yards as a rookie, broke every rookie record there is. Then you have a guy like Jacoby Myers who, caught 100 balls, didn't drop any, had 1,000 yards. Like, I believe he could be a damn good starter. He could have one of the best years of his career. But they have to get better guards. They have to get a way better running back, and they need an X receiver. You have to have somebody that can stretch the field like Trey Tucker, but it's going to catch most of the balls, not 30% or 40%. That shit's not going to cut it. How do you think Ashton Genty would help the Raiders' run game, pass game, as a current favorite to be drafted by the Raiders? If you draft Ashton Genty, he is no doubt, without a question of a doubt, a top 5 running back instantly in the NFL. Instantly, right off the bat. Now, if you get him some road graders, maybe somehow you have a guy like Dalton Wagner, who in college in Arkansas, that's all he did, right? He had Raheem Sanders, who is in this year's draft. He had Raheem Sanders, and all he did was open holes for that dude. He was the road grading machine. That's why the Raiders drafted him. Now, if they can put him in at right tackle and put DJ Glaze in at right guard, you could run the ball to the right side all day long, nonstop. Dalton Wagner is a beast when it comes to the run game. He's just not very good at pass pro, but other than that, he's a beast. So Ashton Genty is no doubt in my mind going to be a top 3 running back, top 5 running back, probably his first year, his rookie year. I believe he's going to get rookie of the year. I think he's going to crush all the rookie records for any team he goes to. Not any team, all right? Probably not a team like the Jets. Probably not a team. Pretty much any team. Fuck, any team, bro. I just thought if you got a decent offensive line, he don't have to have the greatest offensive line. I just showed that from the stats, getting hit behind the line of scrimmage 347 times and gained 14, almost 1,500 yards. Being hit behind the line of scrimmage, you don't have to have the greatest offensive line. He's a game changer. And a lot of people, mistaken the fact that not last year, but the year before, he caught the ball for like 500, 600, 700 yards. Like, he can actually catch out of the backfield, and he's very dangerous with the ball in his hands out of the backfield. So his biggest knock is pass pro, right? Pass pro. So if you got a guy like a Zeus, Zamir White in the building on those short yardage, or where you got to pass, or those 3rd and 15s, some shit where you got to pass, he don't have to be in the game, right? He don't have to be in the game. But on 1st and 2nd down, when it's going to be run plays, that dude's going to eat constantly. And you have to change your defense with Ashton Genty in there. You're gonna stack the box as much as possible just with him in there. Whether it's 1st down, 2nd down, or 3rd down, just his presence standing there, straight up so he can see over the field is intimidating as hell. So Ashton Genty it changes everything, I think. It changes the run game. It changes the pass game because you actually have a threat of running. So you could run more read options. You could run more play action. You could run more option. it just gives you so much more shit you could do with a running back that the defenses has to account for, right? They don't have to account for Mostert. Like, he didn't have the greatest year last year. We know he had 1,000-yard season with 21 touchdowns. But is he going to be that back in this system? We don't know, right? And until he proves that, teams, aren't going to be afraid of that. Ashton Genty, just the number and the name on the back of the jersey, teams are going to have to account for. And it's going to be very, 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 very flipping hard for a defense to account for a dynamic running back like a Ashton Genty. You got one of the best running backs in the league right off the bat, and the best tight end, and one of the best, star receivers, and a guy like Jacoby Myers who don't drop balls. That's hard to cover, bro. That's hard to cover. Very hard to cover. So I think he makes this team instantly better. Instantly. If we don't get Ashton Genty and we get a decent running back, I could see us being a 7-8 win team. If we get Ashton Genty, I could see us being a 10-win team plus. That's how much confidence I have on him, changing this offense, bro. And if we don't get him, I guarantee you, mark my words, he will be a Denver Bronco or probably a Charger, because both of those teams are going to move up to get him. If we don't take him at 6, if he's there, if he's not, if he's there at 6 and we don't take him, watch for one of those teams too. And can you live with yourself, really, as a Raider fan or as a GM, knowing that you didn't want Ashton Genty because you were scared to take him at 6, and he goes to the Denver Donkeys or the Lightning Bugs and runs all over us for 200 yards a game twice a year for the next 10 years? That's hard to swallow, bro. That's a pill I don't want to take. Fucking that's a pill I don't want to take. That's a drink I don't want to sip. I don't want no part of that shit. Out of all the content creators, you share the same opinions, and 80% of my time. Salute. Appreciate you, bro. It means a lot. Spread the word. Spread the word. Shout out to you, my guy, GeoMex. Making my day. Rebel, you got any late round surprise prospects you discovered? We'll have to save that for another show, man. It's been an hour, 30 minutes. I don't want to give them all away when most people probably won't make it this far if they do go back and watch the replay. So, yeah, we can do that tomorrow. I'll write that down. Sleepers. We'll go sleepers tomorrow. But I'll give you one right off the top of my head. Mikael Williams, the edge out of Georgia. I know he's ranked in the first round. I get it. A lot of people say he's going to be in the first round. But I could see that dude going in the top 10. Like, really. If he doesn't go in the top 10, I'll be very surprised. His film doesn't, last year doesn't show you everything that he's capable of. The dude played with an injured leg the whole season, so he couldn't plant. He couldn't put weight or pressure on it. And he still had a better season than most of the defensive edge rushers in this draft. So to me, I don't know if you call it a sleeper because he's projected to be first round, but I think he's going to go way higher. Some people have him second, but I think he's going way higher than that, dude. The man is just a phenom. And again, if we don't even know because his combine, his pro day, and all that shit, he's still kind of, not 100%. So I look for that dude to be scary. Very, very scary. And also, I have to throw out there again, my Arkansas Razorback, bro. I'm telling you, kid's going to be a sleeper. Mr. Armstrong. Watch out for that man. 6'6", a little bit light, 219 pounds. but his catch radius is ridiculous. The arm length is ridiculous. He's gonna, 50-50 balls. He's coming down with 70 of them. Like the man, I don't know what his measurements were at the combine. I'm gonna have to see if I can find those for tomorrow. I don't even know if he participated in all those drills, but he doesn't have the fastest 40 time, but he runs damn good routes and he's gonna catch everything you throw his way. Sorry, I was trying to find something real quick. Give me a second. But yeah, we'll break a little bit down for him tomorrow. And if I got time, I'll try to find some footage I can put up without getting fucking blasted by YouTube. Worst case Sanders, best case Sanders. No. I can agree with that, right? It could be the best case. No, I can't. It could be the worst case. I don't know if it could be the best case. I don't know if taking Sanders could ever turn out to be the best case. I mean, there's a possibility, but if Genty's there and you take Sanders, I just don't see how that could ever turn out to be the best case possible. That would hurt. That would hurt. And here's my thing on Sanders, and I've said it, for the last couple weeks, and I'm gonna say it again. After we got Geno Smith, Shedeur Sanders has an ego. You can't deny it, right? There's no denying. The man's a Christian. He loves God. He does not know what humble pie means. Maybe he reads a different Bible than me as a Christian. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're not reading the same book, but like to me, he missed the part about being humble, right? So he thinks he's the shit. He thinks he's going to come in and turn a franchise around in the first year as a rookie and, be the savior of a franchise. And a guy that has that much confidence in himself, not that it's a bad thing, because, bro, I'm a cocky piece of shit too. Like, there ain't nothing I can't do or feel that I can't do. And if you give me a challenge, I'm a die trying. That's just me. But, some people call it arrogance. Some people call it confidence. Some people call it cockiness. It just depends on, I guess, how you come across with your belief in yourself, which I don't hate on that. But I just don't see Shedeur being the type of kid being spoiled, and you could say he wasn't spoiled. His daddy's a billionaire, bro. Right? His daddy got all the money in the world. He grew up with a daddy as an NFL player. The dude's had everything he could ever ask for in his lifetime. He doesn't know what it's like to struggle, to suffer, to lose, to not be the best, to not have the best, receiver around you, like the best coach, which is your daddy. There's a lot of things that he doesn't know and hasn't, had that big slice of humble pie yet. And I see it being a problem with somebody drafting him, trying to make him sit for a year. I just don't see that sitting well with him, with his character, with his father, with his mother, like the whole family, with his brothers. Everybody's going to be involved. That's my only knock on Shedeur. Do I think he's a first round pick? No. Do I think, possibly late round? Do I think he's top 10? No. Do I think Cam Ward is top 10? No. Like, I don't think any of these guys really are top 10. If you have to take one, I'm taking Jackson Dart. That's just my opinion. But I just don't see Shedeur being comfortable or being able, maybe he can. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he can, sit for a year, learn, become that guy that everybody wants him to be. But I just don't see that being in his character. I see it eating at him, the whole time. Like, just because he, like I said, he feels like he's that guy and he's going to, everything he says, every question you ask, it's, I can do this, I can do that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have to get that humble pie and you get welcomed to the NFL by a guy like Max Crosby, who we know he ain't gonna hold off in practice, right? He's gonna welcome you to the NFL, and I just don't know how he's gonna take sitting for a year, bro. I don't see him having that kind of character. Now, if he can, and a team does draft him and he sits for a year, then I'll eat my words and say I was wrong. Like I ain't fucked up about it, but I see whatever team drafts him playing him. They're playing him the first year. I just don't see him being able to sit. So that's my thing with that. And again, if you trade back to 12, I mean, it's a reach in my opinion, even there. But I wouldn't mind taking him at 12, trading back and taking him if we didn't have Geno, right? If he was going to come in and play right away. But I know Brady wants the guys to sit for a year, but if you're having a guy sit for a year, you draft him in the second or third or fourth or fifth round, sixth round, seventh round. You don't draft a guy in the first round and make him sit. You just not this day and age. You don't. That's too much. It's too much. It's too much. You need right away plug and play on field production from a first round guy from any position, in my opinion. Rebel, do you see Genty's pro day? His jumping cuts are everything about him is amazing. Everything about him is amazing. Now I know he didn't do a turnaround, backwards jump like Saquon did last year, but there's 3 different plays last year where the man completely hurdled a grown man standing up. Like he jumped out of the building to jump over these guys. He is the most athletic pinball freak of nature I've ever seen at running back. And look, 50 years, I'm 50 years old. I've watched every single running back come out of college for the last 40 years since I was 10. That's all I've done. Watch football, Raider shit. That's all I care about. I've seen all these guys. I watched college football my whole life. I've watched football my whole life. I played running back in high school. I wanted to be the white Walter Payton. Like that was my dream, to be a running back in the NFL. Well, when you tear your knee twice, it doesn't happen. But that's my position. I love running backs. I watch every running back in this draft every year for a long ass time. Any film I can get on any of these guys. This dude is different. He is different. He's different than everybody in every kind of way. Like I don't know. I don't know how people don't see it, but I don't see anybody in him. People say he's not Saquon, he's not Barry Sanders, and I agree. I agree. He's not any of those. He's like a mix of LT, Barry Sanders, Saquon, fucking the power of Henry. Like dude's got all these dudes, wrapped into one little tiny 5'8", 220-pound body. that does some crazy freakish shit that he shouldn't be able to do at his size. The way he makes people miss, the way he breaks tackles, the way he's wrapped up and just shoves guys to the ground is freakish. Everything about it is freakish. So yes, I did watch his pro day, and man, I've even gone back as far as to watch, his freshman year when my boy Taylor Green was there, and he didn't get a lot of reps because you had a 6'6" quarterback with a rocket arm that could run a 4.40, and he ran a lot of RPOs and didn't give the ball up too much. Sometimes quarterbacks are selfish and greedy, but I've even went back and watched all 3 years of everything I can find on this kid, bro. He's scary, man. He's gonna be a problem if he stays healthy. That's the key word. Healthy, healthy, healthy. But he has the body for it. He has the body, he has the shortness. We've seen him, 700 snaps. That's just out of the backfield, like not even counting the run snaps. The guy is everything you can possibly want in a football player, in a running back. And if he makes it to 6, I will be extremely surprised. I will. Like If he makes it to 6 and we don't take him, God, bro, I will die. I will absolutely die. How's your night? Unleashing Addiction was good. Appreciate you pulling up. It's going pretty good. Have they signed Gino yet? Yes, ma'am. They signed Gino to a 2-year extension. It is now worth $106 million for 3 years. 66.5 of that is fully guaranteed. And he is averaging exactly what I said he would get, which is freakish because I didn't think I was that good. No, I'm just fucking. See, I could be cocky and confident too, but in a funny kind of way. No. But no, for real, he got exactly what I said. I said I would not pay Geno Smith over $38 million. I would not pay him 40 or 45. And I said I'd be completely happy if they gave him 35, 36 mil. Well, that's what his average is, 35.333. It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal if he can clean up the turnovers. Rebel Facts, if he goes to the Lightning Bugs like LT, if he goes anywhere in our division, we might as well just quit watching football. You're just going to be in nothing but misery for the rest of the 10 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, bro. If he goes to the Chargers or the Broncos, just don't even turn on Raider games anymore. I mean, you might as well just find another franchise. Seriously, I'm not playing because it's you're gonna cry every time you turn on the football. You feel going, why didn't we draft this kid at 6? How did we let him fall to the Chargers? How did we let him fall to the Broncos? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Oh shit, sir, you are happy about that? No, not really. Geno Smith, Genty, Bowers, Mayer, Renfro. I would love this. Man, I love Hunter Renfro. If we're gonna bring in Renfro, oh, you don't even have him on there. But if we're gonna bring in Renfro, you got to release Trey Tucker, in my opinion, because Trey Tucker is gonna stretch the field once in a while. A lot of I don't know what we're gonna run, but I know the last 2 years, most of the plays were stupid slant routes, little in routes, out routes, having them on the outside of the, as an X receiver or Y receiver going against 6'2" corners that he has no chance of beating for the ball. So I don't know, man. I don't think Renfro doesn't have a place here. I hate to say it. He's a Raider, and I would love to have him here more than, probably 70-80% of the roster that we have in the receiver room. But I just don't see him fitting here. I just don't see him fitting. We have every one of our receivers are under 6 foot. Like, come on. I believe, except for Ramel Keaton, which is maybe 6'1", I think, maybe 6'2". I think Christian Wilkerson, maybe 6'2". But you get what I'm saying. All our receivers are short. We don't need another slot guy. We have a lot of slot guys. I wish they would have kept the one slot guy. But yeah, man, I would love to see, Hunter back. But I just don't see him fitting anywhere. I don't see him fitting. Brock Bowers is going to get a lot of balls, positive, necessary. I didn't say, Jacoby Myers is going to get a lot of passes thrown his way. Trey Tucker, he's going to have to get, a lot of passes thrown his way because he's the only, deep threat we have really to stretch the field. Unless they DJ Turner. That's what I was trying to say. Geomex thinks, man, good thing you're in here, bro. You think exactly like me and shit. Because I I was fighting for the words. And he's like, DJ Turner. Yes, I wish we would have kept DJ Turner. Like that was a stupid move in my opinion. The man just brings so much to this offense. I hated that shit. Um, right, for sure. And going up, and going up. But yeah, DJ Turner would have been crazy in this offense, bro. If they only knew. I guess they did know, but I don't know how they didn't keep him around. He could have just been man. Especially on the sweeps, on the reverses, on the end arounds, short yardage plays that he turns into 20-25 yards with his elusiveness and his twitchiness. I love DJ Turner, bro. That shit hurt. He should have got way more chances than he got. Way more burn, but he didn't. That doesn't even. I don't know. Genty, yeah, Genty, Bowers, Mayer, Myers. We need one more guy. We need one more guy, right? Even if you throw Tucker in there and Renfro, we still need that. I think we need that Jalen Higgins. Jalen Higgins, bro. That would be crazy. That crazy. Second round pick, Jalen Higgins. I think he goes in the first. But if he doesn't, could you just imagine Geno Smith throwing the ball out of the backfield to Ashton Genty, to Brock Bowers, to Michael Mayer, to Jacoby Myers, to Trey Tucker when he's in there, and then having your number one crazy guy be a rookie like Jalen Higgins? That would be scary. Scary, dude. Scary good. Emeka Ibuka would be that same scary good. Savion Williams. I'm telling you, man. I'm not giving up on Savion Williams. I really think he would, you know, just bring a crazy aspect to this team that we haven't had ever, right? You can line them up, like the Tyson Hill type. You can line them up, take snaps on third downs. You can just hand the ball off to them, straight out, snap the ball to him out of the backfield. He could run the ball. He can play kick return, punt return. He can play, X receiver. He can play in the slot. The kid can block. He has pretty good hands. They're not great, He might could use a little bit of stickum, but focus and concentration, and just getting stronger. They got that little grip thing you can fucking squeeze, make your hands stronger, shit like that. You got to have big hands, right? When you're 6'4", 6'5", like that, like Savion, he can't have small hands. I mean, he can, but maybe that's the problem. But dude, that guy, Cordell Patterson type, just whenever he's on the field, defenses don't know what to do. And then when you have him on the field with defenses not knowing what to do, and you have Ashton Genty in the backfield and Brock Bowers at tight end, teams are gonna not know. You're just gonna be guessing. You're gonna play a guessing game all game long. That would be scary good. But we would have to trade back. There still is that scenario, and I know Spytek loves his picks, and I know everybody else loves their picks. Damn, I've been on 2 hours already. Fuck, I gotta get off here. Appreciate all y'all rocking with me for 2 hours. The 11 in the building. Salute to you. Y'all my real ones for sure, and I appreciate y'all always pulling up, always hanging with me. It means the world. But yeah, trading back is a damn good way to build this roster. And I've been through it over and over again. The point system, they still use the point system. I talked about it Friday. I talked about it the week before that. The Jimmy Johnson point system has now been updated to the whatever fucking, I forgot the dude's name, system, but they still go by that points. And for a team, like the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Buffalo Bills, who again, this might be a sign. No, I'm just kidding. But 4 times in the last 2 days, in like the last 10 mock drafts I did, there've been like 4 of them where the Buffalo Bills try to trade up to 6. You know what it cost the Buffalo Bills to move from 30 to 6? Do you have any idea? Any idea the amount of picks it cost to move up from 30 to 6? It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So we're sitting at 1,600 points for pick number 6. Pick 30? It's worth like it's worth like 400 points, 500 points, something. I don't know. I guess it's first round, so it's worth maybe I think, but whatever. It's not worth a lot. It's not worth a lot. So we're talking probably a first round, a third round, a fourth or a fifth, a seventh, a second and a third next year. Like our swap, they're 30, a first next year, a second next year, and a second and a third this year. Like it's astronomically crazy. And when you're a team like the Buffalo Bills and you have an Ashton Genty sitting on the board, that, I mean, everybody in that building has to be thinking, damn, we could get a receiver in this draft. Our defense is, they made moves in the offseason. You have Josh Allen. What would Ashton Genty do to this team, bro? Like Ashton Genty would make the Buffalo Bills a Super Bowl team, right? They're already a playoff caliber team. They've already, pushed the brink every single year of making it within 2 games of the Super Bowl. And Ashton Genty would put that team over the edge. And I don't know if the Bills would be willing to trade some, crazy shit like that. But if you really think you're only one player away, I could see teams doing it. There's been way, way crazier trades. I mean, the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks and a third to move up to get Trey Lance. Like, come on. 3 first rounds and a third for Trey Lance. Just remember that when you're evaluating picks and thinking, teams won't trade up to get this guy. Fuck it. Come on. Teams will trade up to get this guy. Also, the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Saints. Listen to me. Listen to me very, very closely. The New Orleans Saints. If Shedeur Sanders is there at 6 with Ashton Genty, I do not see any scenario where the Saints do not throw everything they possibly can to move up to get Shedeur if he's there, or a Jackson Dart. They swung for the fences last year. They drafted a quarterback in the 5th round. It didn't work out for him. They gave him starts this year. He was nowhere near the quarterback that even Aiden O'Connell was, who was, he's not going to be the future, right? Derek Carr's contract is absolutely ridiculous. And if you can draft a guy and somehow, get out of that contract very, very soon, and the cap hell that they're in, and you can get a Shedeur Sanders, you have to jump the Raiders. If you want Shedeur or Jackson Dart, say Shedeur goes 2, Cam Ward goes 1. So that's 1 and 2 goes a quarterback. And you're sitting there at 6 and Jackson Dart is there. I could see the Saints moving up to 6 to get him. Because if they don't, the Jets are taking him right afterwards. Probably Dart, maybe, probably Shedeur, maybe Jackson Dart. It all depends. Maybe a Tyler Shuck. There's, could be another sleeper to somebody move up and think he's the best player in this draft. I've heard a lot of people say that they believe he is, other than Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck could be the number 2 quarterback in this draft, and it's not even close in some people's opinion. So there are a lot of scenarios, bro, where these guys, teams can move up to get their guy. Like the 49ers, they're sitting at what, 9, 11, somewhere fucking, I don't know where they're at, 13. Wait, maybe I have it on here. Yeah. So the 49ers sitting at 13. I could see them moving up to get a Terrio McMillan, T Mac, getting up, moving up to get their guy. I could see them moving up to take a Mimbu if he's there, at 6, or a Will Campbell if he falls to 6, because their star tackle is, up there in age, bro. He's up there in age, right? So getting real close to that point. They have a young quarterback. They still have a running back. Maybe they go tackle of the future. Again, the Saints might want. Don't put it past. Do not put it past the Miami Dolphins, who have, Tua Tagovailoa. He's got concussions year after year after year. He's injury fucking prone. I do not see Jackson Dart or Shador making it out of the top 10 with teams like that. Like, I don't know how much, Miami would be willing to move up, but if you're only moving up from 11 to 6, it's not going to cost you that much, right? It's going to cost you swap picks and probably a second and maybe a sixth or something, maybe start with a second and a fifth. There's a lot of teams that could be willing to move up. And I feel like there's a lot of teams that are going to move up in this draft. I just have a feeling this is going to be one of the craziest drafts ever, because there's just a lot of players that are undervalued. There's a lot of players that are overvalued. And there are horrible, horrible drafting teams in the NFL. Every single year, people make huge mistakes. I mean, we're Raider fans. We know more than anybody the fucking stupid ass decisions we can make in the 6th round. Alex Leatherwood, Damon Arnett, the list goes on and on. Peace out, my boy GeoMex. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Stay blessed. I did a mock draft. Wait, where'd that go? Treated back with the Niners. Still drafted Genty, Higgins, Milroe, Judkins. Anything is possible. If we get 3 of those players, bro, I'll be fucking ecstatic. I will be jumping off the rooftops, screaming loud. Like, that shit'd be crazy. I'll even be happy with just Genty and Higgins, bro. We don't even have to get all of them, but Milroe, I think, is just a very, very long project. Like, again, if you can put the virtual reality headset on, like Jaden Daniels, get him on that VR. Get him on that VR daily. I think Jalen Milroe could come around faster than people imagine. He is one of the most intelligent quarterbacks ever to come out of college. Nobody has had their masters faster than Jalen Milroe in college that I could think of. Like, the dude already had his degree last year or at the beginning of this year and was working on another master's, which I thought that's why he was going to stay in school. But I guess somebody told him he might be a first round quarterback and he decided to jump out this year. But athleticism wise, throwing out of the building, Milroe is him. I just don't know about the small hands. It's hard to be accurate. It's hard to have touch on the ball. It's hard to grip the ball to be able to throw those short, immediate throws with touch when you have, itty bitty hands. And I believe that's the problem with Milroe. But 2 hours. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Raiders. Join me tomorrow as, what are we going to do? Oh, I will break down the sleepers for my boy Arnie. I have a couple of them. And I don't know what you consider a sleeper. But guys that aren't being talked about, I'm gonna have to dig really deep for that. But I do have some. I got you. I got some. And then I was gonna do it again. I was gonna do it tonight. But being on this up and down short feed shit, I don't like to do mock drafts or pull anything up because you can't really see the shit. I mean, I don't know what you can see on my side, but it's hard for me to see on this side. So tomorrow I will change the feed to long ways and I will do a couple mock drafts, probably 2 or 3. I will do one tomorrow. I'll do one mock draft where I pick, and then I'll do a mock draft where y'all pick. And then who knows? Maybe somebody will jump in the live. Maybe we'll have a secret special guest tomorrow. And we'll all 3 do a mock draft. Who knows? But mock draft tomorrow after we break down the sleepers. Speaking of sleep, I'm out. Peace. Much love. Raiders again. Just win, baby.